Here's a great payback story about a husband who treats their children badly. After making him mad, I danced with my partner. That's what my partner and I had to do at a German country event. My partner doesn't know much about dancing, but I danced for years when I was younger. A professional dancer told me that my boyfriend should have practiced more moves after the formal dance. He did a good job. I asked him, of course, if he would dance with me. He said it was okay because he was excited and had always wanted to dance with a pro. I got the Tango Argentino next, which was a good thing, because you can talk close up for a long time. In fact, I did want. These are the lines of talk I remember. "How long have you been dancing?" I asked. 4 years, he said. "Really?" I asked. "Maybe, but not very often," he said. "Why?" "I go every week," I said. I thought people were busy with life and work, but you never know. A dot. "Which dance do you like best?" He says, "Tango Argentino is nice, but I think my favorite is," he says, "No, this isn't it, breathe." A dot. "Don't have a steady dance partner?" He replied. "No, why?" I told her, "Just the way you dance, why not try some other sports?" "No, I really enjoy dancing, why should I?" I replied, just wondering. "One of my dancing friends swears by yoga as a cross-training method." He replied, "Oh yeah, that actually sounds cool, I'll think about that." I replied, "No problem, you might even be good at a sport." This is how the dance went the whole time. I thanked him after dancing. I gave him a mean thank you, then slapped his hand and said, "Thanks, everybody learns at their own speed." Hope Op's partner knew about the plan before Op got on the horse and started talking to him carefully. Yes, it would make a great story later on, but let's say the Op B doesn't say anything and then dances the Tango Argentino with this jerk. Batatak 007, I can't picture loving Op. When he tries to dance with his dancer girlfriend, another dancer makes fun of him. His girlfriend quickly dances with him and says, "Oh, don't worry, babe, I made fun of him the whole time." Believe me, I would have left before the song ended. Hi, my name is Steven. Please like or review my show if you like great payback stories. The next story is called Teacher Said No to Bathroom in 4th grade. I asked my teacher where the bathroom was. I told the teacher I had to leave or I was going to pee myself, but she said no. The teacher told me to hold it. I had to pee right away. Then I raised my hand to show that I had to go home because I had to go to the bathroom. "Are you joking?" asked the teacher. I peed on the chair and showed him my wet pants. I told him, "No, I'm not kidding." I was sent to the principal's office, where she called my mom to come get me. My parents talked to the director about this. The teacher would never again say no to my bathroom break. If my kid went to school and the teacher wouldn't let them use the bathroom, I would tell them, "Hey, if your teacher literally won't let you use the restroom, do you want to try to change that teacher for the better? They said that you're not cool unless you pee your pants." Nyorio stated, "Not a bathroom story, but in 1st grade I wasn't feeling well. Dad rarely comes home from work abroad, so school calls him to make sure she's okay. I threw up on his shoes. It looks like she's sick. This time he shouldn't have made me eat that." In another story, I thought of a small wrong I did over 40 years ago and felt bad about it. When I was in 4th grade, we ate in the cafeteria. It was said that students were throwing away too much food, so they would have to eat everything on their trays. The day before, I was still abroad. The next day, I walked through the line to pick out a veggie lunch. Today, you could choose between beets and carrots. I don't like either. It wasn't possible to skip. Carrots were my choice. Everything but carrots is on my plate at the table. Our guy teacher ate lunch with us every day. He told me that because of the new rule, I had to eat the carrots. It was the first time I had a fight with an adult, but I tried to stay away by telling him it would make me sick. He told me to eat them or have a talk with the teacher. Even though I was a good kid, the thought scared me. That's what I ate. I got on my knees and threw up on his lap. From the nurse's office, I was taken home. When I went back the next day, the new rule was no longer in place. Not letting kids waste food is a good thing, but should they be made to eat? That's what I think will happen. Jennabear82 wrote, "My sister's teacher attempted to get her in trouble for vomiting on her after forcing her to eat everything on her plate. My mom asked her why she made her eat when she was done. Put in the Pikachu face of the teacher. Sharing basket at school for my daughter. Children must take a fruit with them when they leave because of the nutrition program. However, there is a share basket where other children can take something if one child doesn't want it. This cuts down on waste because they have to throw away everything at the end of the day, no matter how it was handled. Kids put fruit, milk, and cheese in their lunchboxes, but then they leave it empty. Next, while I was away on vacation, my best friend painted my apartment pink. Because she is more girly than I am, my best friend wears pink, gets her hair and nails done, etc. I don't like this or pink. She made a joke about hiring painters to make my room pink while I was away on vacation. She changed all of my works to pink, put down a pink rug, and put pink things on the walls. Here is my small punishment. I made copies of all of her pictures in her apartment, changed her head to be 25% bigger in each one, and gave them back to her while she was away. It's been a month this week, but she doesn't seem to notice. Okay, how often do you look at your pictures? Everything looks fine at first, but you can't take your eyes off of it. She looks dizzy in all of them. I don't know how long it will take her to figure it out, but every time I go to her house, I laugh. I'm not sure what to think about Op's choice because I want to know what happened to all the original pictures. Op would be a jerk if they kept everything a secret, right? First ones until they found out. What do you do? Can the first ones fit under the ones with 25% bigger heads? This doesn't even sound like small-time revenge, Rough Principal 3755 said. It sounds like two friends pulling harmless pranks. Friend of a real estate agent. Every time he had an open house, I would sneak a small framed picture of him to keep for years. I usually put it in the busy ones while he served customers. I often joked that I was going to the bathroom. As soon as a client saw it, he would call and laugh. His customers laughed just as much as we did, because it's silly and other people didn't notice until they were moving. The next story shows that being nice can help you get back at someone. Houston, Texas has typically bad traffic when people are leaving work. A big accident on a highway that forces people to take side roads makes things worse. I had trouble leaving work to get to my hotel, which was 2 miles away. After a big accident on one of the major interstates, traffic slowed down, and drivers had to take other ways to get to work. Someone tried to get to the road from a parking lot, but cars blocked their way, waited to make room for them. Behind me, the driver of a big SUV was shocked. It looks like she wasn't praising my good character when she honked, flashed her lights, and waved her arms. She charged at me over and over again, like she was going to hit me. I let 4 more people join the line that goes around the block. Finally, I told her I thought her brain might explode. I love it when you have nothing to do and nowhere to go but can invite people over and let someone like this spark. Egg 3704 wrote, "This is my favorite thing to do when someone behind me loses their poop. I like being late. Just a few inches stopped us, and I believe we went over 40. For days, everything was closed. Everything was shown. One road linked 2 areas, and it was 20 mph and bumper to bumper for 9 miles. Other roads went by this one. I let the person in front of me use any road because most people wouldn't. The person behind me went crazy at the red light. He got out of his car and walked up to them. I thought he was going to kill me. 'Are you a freaking Girl Scout?' he yelled as he walked back to his car. Continued to laugh. Next, can you study without me being around? I get it. This reminds me of my first year of high school. I went to a new private school with classes that was based on STEM. I knew a little about Python before the class. It was simple to get an A. Okay, I never felt like a nerd, so I didn't want to be seen as one at my new school. Instead, try to be cool. I got to know the Ike girl at our school. We were talking about computer class, and she said the project was hard for her. To make our friendship stronger, I promised to help her. At first, it didn't bother me. I got to do things I had forgotten and find new reasons to get better. In the end, all we did was talk and make sure I did her work. She might not have logged in to check though. Done. I stopped doing her schoolwork over time. She knew that she got a terrible grade because she didn't finish her project, and I told her the truth when she asked me why. Unintentional revenge took place here. It's funny that our code homework software has a big programming error in it. It scored 100% if you started a task, didn't type anything, and then clicked continue. No changes were made to the original text. It was finished and correct. The teacher looked closely and thought the software was set up to correctly grade your work, and copied the grade. In the end, I skipped all of her work to make sure that I had enough time for both of our homework before stopping. I told her about this method in one chat. Unless I had a really hard task, I hardly ever used it. To get back at me for not doing her work, she went to see the teacher and told them that some people just hit continue so. The teacher carefully looked over all of the homework and changed the grades. Like everyone else, she lost a letter grade. She went from getting a C or D to failing badly. My grade stayed the same. Most likely my teacher didn't need to go over my task again since I liked code and knew how to do it before high school. She did something bad to herself. She had to take the class again, but I got an A. Before you ask for a big request, talk to someone. To be honest, I'll try to make them happy if they do my homework in a class I don't want to do or don't know enough about to do myself. Dependent Combo 259 added, next time, set some boundaries and avoid trying to nurture a purely transactional relationship still. She never liked you. The next story is about how I got my lazy friend to give me a 10 on a school project. My late train makes me think of this story from high school, so I'll share it. He and I were given a geography project at school that was about plate tectonics. A friend who hates geography had a rough time with their teacher. I did great and loved the material. This is likely the reason my friend chose me for his project. I saw that he hadn't worked on the job after a few days. He told me to look, this is not something I want to do, please give me a good score. If not, I'll just hold your grade back. I was mad at him and told him that this plan would not work because I've always been a great writer, at least in our native language. And I had my own style, even when I was a youth. Friend didn't listen to this and told me to do everything by myself. This is where the payback started. I told the other 6 about my plans and got them to pair up so that Friend would be stuck with me. Friend was my best friend. Friends was mad that I was helping them with their economics homework on the day we got it. 2. The teacher wasn't sure I did all the work because he knew how I wrote. I could tell on a friend and give him a 1 out of 10. I looked my teacher straight in the eyes and told him, "You're wrong on everything, sir." Friend was very helpful all the way through. We just agreed that I should write everything down to make sure the writing was uniform. Brother, you really messed me up with this. Making sure that both of us get an 8.5 on that economics project would be the least you could do to pay me. Because, just in case you didn't notice, I have no plans to finish that job. I will trust you to handle it well. I would only hold you back anyway. Friend took a quick look at me and then laughed. He said, honestly, this is how it works in the workplace. We rely on each other's strengths to cover each other's weaknesses. I'm glad we can now make fun of this. We were very good friends. As we walked into the business, we saw a young woman in a BMW park in the only handicapped spot half-heartedly and incorrectly. She doesn't have any plaque and seems to be in good health, so she deserves it. That crap is awful and makes me crazy. That's why I made it my job to stay in MS. BMWs weigh the whole shop. I pushed my cart in front of her and tried to guess what she would do next. As she walked toward the bread aisle, I had to look at the bread and see what was in it. I didn't notice that she was sighing and hitting her legs out of anger. It was great that she was in the way of me and the other people. It went on for about 15 minutes, until she got away. Check out, and it was crowded. There was a loud cell phone call going on in front of me. Before this kind of behavior was okay, everyone looked upset. In the next sentence, I heard him say that he was playing video games at a guy's house. Why would he lie about that? Who are you talking to, baby? I asked my sister. All of a sudden, you hear a woman yelling at him. Who the hell is that? He runs to explain, but he has to admit that he's not where he said he was. Instead, he's at the food store. He got out of line and walked away. Our next story is about how to show your mother-in-law great jewelry. Always finds the good in people, even when they're being bad, and I let bad behavior slide way too often. I did this with her for years and years until I finally understand that she is a bad person at heart. She treats me a lot like a jealous ex-girlfriend, and she has been a terrible mother to my husband since he was a kid and as an adult. Christmas Eve, so they could blind her with light. She came as planned and saw me put my hand over my face. She then asked about both of them. Husband got me these, aren't they lovely? I asked her over and over again. There are still lots of gifts from him under the tree that I need to open. He couldn't wait to give me the bracelet on Christmas. Your boy is so cute, and he spoils me a lot. Her eyes have never been so angry. Without meaning to, Op is winning this. Their partner is getting away from their abusive mother with their help, but they're also being spoiled. Pants. Someone I used to know made some pretty mean comments about my bottom while I was wearing green pants last year. In another sub, I asked for help with this, and you can read the whole thing in my bio if you'd like. To make a long story short, she told me out of the blue that I should throw away my green pants because my cheeks were too big for them. After a few hours, she pulled up the long sweater I was wearing that day to check your jeans to see if they were too big around the middle. It was very embarrassing, and she did it in front of everyone, even her husband. I wore a really long sweater over my butt that day because my pants were a little see-through. I've moved on from this and now go to the same knitting club with some new and better friends. I broke up with all of my friends from last year and made new ones. I still get together with old friends once a week. Why? Because we're both in the same knitting group, and in March I became the actual leader of that group. Some people, especially my new friends, have noticed that I'm not hanging out with this person anymore. They've also noticed that she was rude to me before March and has since tried to kiss my butt. Funny. At first the anger wasn't very strong, but it got stronger over time. Since November, every Tuesday I've worn the exact pair of green pants she told me to get rid of. I keep them clean and ready to wear. Every Tuesday night. A few of my new clothes. Because I was the head, some people who didn't know we were knitting in green started to do so too. 2 more made green shorts that you can wear all summer. That means that every Tuesday this woman must be with other women who are wearing green TR. This is great, said Agnes Perdita. Long live you and your lovely green cheeks that go with your pants. I think you should make some pretty green pillowcases for your club, with pockets on the pants and a big seam down the middle. Sweaters that are very long and have a loop on the back hem so nosy people can quickly lift the hem to see if the buttocks underneath are too private. The next story is, can't you keep the kids busy while I cook? Take the chairs away after each meal. Okay, my husband and I have 2 kids who are autistic. It started to bother him a week ago when we started moving, tipping and pee. No, he plays video games all the time, and the computer is in the living room dining area. I made a secret rule: the chairs will stay in the house until I need to take them out. I'll have to take away his computer chair as well if I move the dining room chairs. I don't need to bring in his chair when I bring in the living room chairs. It was in the day room, I told him. As I walked away, he stood there like he was waiting for me to get it. I didn't, and I want to move it there and keep it there as much as possible. Is this small? Yes. What do I care? Not at all. Is it amusing? Yes. Simple things like making him get his own things instead of expecting me to give them to him make me laugh. As a parent, I think most people would tell him that taking the chairs away every time the kids mess with them isn't the answer. It's just easier for him when he doesn't have to move the furniture. She said, "Oh no, who will tell her?" I'm not, because the answer won't be simple, even though I understand how hard things are for everyone involved. As a woman whose ex-husband behaved just like the op, I'll say it, feel things. There are a lot of red flags here, but no one knows what's going on behind the scenes. Think about this, friend op, you don't have to live that way if what people are saying hits home with you. You and your kids don't deserve to be yelled at for such small things, at the very least.